The member from London West.
Thank you, Speaker. Speaker, Monday, April 20th marks Equal Pay Day in 2015. I use the word mark advisedly because unlike many of the days we recognize in this House, Equal Pay Day is no cause for celebration. The day represents how far into the next year a woman in Ontario must work in order to earn the same salary that a man did the year before. In order to earn what a man was paid in 2014, a woman must work those 12 months plus all of January, all of February, all of March, and most of April. Since 2013, thanks to the advocacy of the Equal Pay Coalition, many of whom are here today, as well as the efforts of Ontario New Democrats, and in particular my colleague, the member for Parkdale High Park, Equal Pay Day has been observed in this province. When it was first introduced, Equal Pay Day fell on April 9th. Last year, it fell 1 week later, on April 16th. This year, it falls later still. So what does this tell us? It tells us that the gap is widening, not closing, that the problem is getting worse, not better, and that women are falling further behind, especially women who are racialized, women who are living with disabilities, Indigenous women, and newcomer women. Speaker, in 2010, women in Ontario made 72 cents for every dollar earned by men. Today, the gender pay gap has increased to 31.5%. This is a fundamental injustice. It is both a human rights issue and a major barrier to Ontario's economic and social well-being. Over the course of their lifetime, when women earn about 1/3 less than men, they must work until they are 79 years old to make what men earn by the time they turn 65. That is 14 years longer. Since most women do not keep working until they turn 79, they end their years in poverty and are twice as likely to be poor as senior men. As women's issues critic for the NDP caucus, I can tell you that Ontario women want to see more than the striking of a panel. They want to see action and change. New Democrats will be watching carefully to make sure that the government delivers on its commitment to close the gap, but based on past experience, it's hard not to be skeptical about the Liberals' promise to carry this through. We've seen a Pay Equity Act that the Liberals have consistently refused to honour, especially in the case of midwives, an Accessibility for Ontarians with Disabilities Act that they have refused to enforce, and a poverty reduction strategy that provides no funding and no targets. We know that eliminating the wage gap will require a significant change to the way government operates, an end to their reliance on undervalued women's work for the delivery of government services, as well as a major commitment of funding. So we're going to hold off on the applause until we see some real resources allocated and some tangible progress made. We'll also be watching for a gender lens in the minister's other initiative on labour laws and precarious work, because we know that a major contributor to the gender wage gap is the number of Ontario women who work part-time, even when they would rather be working full-time, the number of women who can only find temporary jobs, contract jobs, or minimum wage jobs, and the number of women who can't find any paid employment at all. Speaker, we already know what needs to be done. We need strategies to improve women's access to collective bargaining and their rights to unionize. We need more quality, affordable, and accessible childcare spaces, not less, and greater access to paid parental leave, family leave, and sick leave. While these kinds of policies will benefit all workers, they will benefit women in particular, given that women tend to carry the burden of family care responsibilities. Speaker, in the lead-up to this day, 18 MPPs signed pledges to be pay equity champions, all of them New Democrats, which comes as no surprise since the majority of our caucus are women. I want to applaud the efforts of the Equal Pay Coalition to raise awareness among MPPs and to enlist our support. New Democrat MPPs did not sign that pledge lightly. We recognize the human rights of women to have their labour valued equally to men's. We also recognize the tremendous economic stimulus, the boost boost to Ontario's economy and the benefits to our communities that would result from ending pay discrimination. In closing, Speaker, a consultation more than a decade after the Liberals formed government is long overdue. And while a panel is nice, New Democrats will continue to push for legislation, policies and funding that will enable men and women in Ontario to reach their full economic potential and participate as true equals in our province and our society. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you.